If you're a billionaire and you care about your shareholders, you care about your family, you care about your grandkids, you should be voting for someone that's going to bring prosperity to America and peace to the world. That's what President Trump is going to do.
And there you have it. That's one of the leading Republican Veep contenders, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, on his message to billionaires as Trump's vision for a second presidency comes into focus. They're all but putting a for sale sign over the White House. The Washington Post reported this morning that Trump posed a deal to a group of America's wealthiest during a meeting at Mar-a-Lago Club last month. Raise $1 billion for me in exchange for rolling back taxes and regulations if he's elected. And why wouldn't they do it? Trump is the perfect puppet ruler for them. He keeps the base entertained while advancing the real purpose of his autocratic presidency: deregulate and enrich the 1%. Joining me now is David Cay Johnston, distinguished visiting lecturer at Syracuse University College of Law and author of The Big Cheat: How Donald Trump Fleeced America and Enriched Himself and His Friends. David, I mean, Donald Trump really is sort of the perfect man for this job, no? Because he does love being around rich people and serving them.
Well, and Donald, despite the mistaken beliefs of millions of his followers, he doesn't care one bit about people at the bottom, not one bit. And he's perfectly happy to associate with people like Senator Rick Scott of Florida, who amazingly was not prosecuted and sent to prison for stealing $1.4 billion from the taxpayers, and many other people.
And let me just give you all some statistics for our audience here, just to understand where we're at. Oil profits are at record levels right now. They are Exxon, Chevron, Bank, their second highest annual profits in a decade last year. Exxon netted $36 billion, Chevron $21.4 billion. In terms of the people who are in Congress, less than 2% of state legislators are from the working class. Out of more than 7,300 lawmakers, just 116, that's 1.6%, ever worked in manual labor. In 10 states, there was not a single lawmaker who currently ever worked in an occupation that would be classified as working class. You've got self-funders, self-funding candidates all over the country. They're just simply running for office themselves to take control of the country themselves. Billionaire worth versus regular people's wealth. $2.9 trillion as of 2017. That's after Donald Trump's super duper uber tax cut. 5.8 trillion now. Last time, for the first time in U.S. history, billionaires have a lower effective tax rate than the working class. This is Donald Trump's constituency. Why would normal working class people be in favor of him?
Because they're not told about this in the news if they pay attention to the news at all. I mean, I've spent decades, the New York Times and elsewhere since, documenting this. In my book, Perfectly Legal, about our tax system, where I show all these people who found ways to pay little or no tax, there's a chart. It's the 40-year increase in income for the bottom 90%, and it's 1 inch in the book. And then there's an arrow next to it. It goes to the top of the page. This represents the oligarch class. And it says continues off the page for 62.5 feet. Every time a person in the bottom 90% got $1 of increased income, the oligarch class got $7,500 each. And this did not happen organically. This is not how markets work. This is what Trump is selling. I will fix the government rules to make you even richer, even though you've got more money than you could possibly consume. I will fix the rules for you. And that's what people need to understand. Governments set the rules, and we have been for 50 years now. The Democrats do not have clean hands here, mostly not because they haven't fought back. But what's happened over the last 50 years is government rules that take from the many and stuff $100 bills into the pockets of people who are fabulously wealthy. It's having horrible social consequences. Yeah. It explains why so many poorly educated working class people think Donald Trump is their savior, even as he's stabbing them in the back.
Yeah, and I think it's partly this. Let me play what he said. This is in 2016, the way he ran for office.
And I built an unbelievable business, a great, great business, some of the greatest assets in the world.
I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich.
Donald Trump became famous in the 1980s at a time when the media glorified rich people. We had something called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. He benefited from this idea of worshiping the rich and thinking people thought Elon Musk was amazing simply because he bought Tesla. And they're like, he made up Tesla. No, he didn't. He bought it. Right. But people kind of, I mean, that is what he's benefiting from. It's why he's president.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, Donald is not now and never has been a billionaire.
No.
But here's one of the numbers to think about. Between 2013 and 2021, so that's just 8 years, the number of people reporting an income of more than $10 million tripled. And when you look at the most recent IRS report on audits of people who make more than $10 million, they only audited a tiny fraction of them. And if you divide the number of people in that class by the amount collected by the government after audits, it's $320 per person. The amount of money from audits of high-income people has fallen 99%. Why is this not front page news? Why is this not leading the network newscasts?
Yeah, and I think it's because there is because all the media, everybody is in cahoots on the idea of less regulation and lower taxes. All of the industries are for that. And lastly, I will point out FreedomWorks, which was invented by the Koch brothers to pretend that the Tea Party was a grassroots movement. They're actually shutting down now because they're no longer needed. It's now self-perpetuating, David. People are willing to do for the the top, right? The Bastille isn't being stormed. The Trump MAGA base is protecting the Bastille.
Right. And the way we change that is we get unions back, because 80% of workers benefited when about a third of private sector workers were in unions. We get government rules that stop this upward redistribution through all the secret little things I revealed in my books, Perfectly Legal, The Fine Print, and Free Lunch, most of all. And we stop this subsidizing of huge corporations. You know, General Electric should be able to stand on its own instead of taking welfare.
Indeed. David Cay Johnston, thank you very much, my friend. Much appreciated.